We figured out how to crack the code on generating 586% more booked appointments. That means cutting our costs down by about 93%. And in order to do that, we actually compiled this list here of the best practices, which we're going to go over on this video. Now, before we get into it, this is a list of data that is from our findings, from our partners, from our clients as well. And we're a build and release hybrid growth agency that does build and releases, so that way people don't ever have to hire a marketing agency. They can take this in-house. So again, that's not the purpose of this video, but we're gonna go ahead and dive into what this sheet is here and how you can take this and implement it into your business as soon as this week without changing your product at all. All right, so what I'm about to show you are the best practices that you can take and implement into your business with whatever it is you're doing right now. Before I go into this, just for context, so this has been compiled over thousands and thousands and thousands of touch points, both from us, from partners, from our clients, from a Harvard study as well. So as we're going through this, I want you to think of what you're doing right now in your process. And I'm gonna show you what you can add in to just squeeze more juice out of your existing leads that are coming through. So for example, if you're, let's say, making a phone call and making a text message, we're gonna cover that here in a second. So without further ado, let's dive into it. This is over 25,000 unique leads. This is over 262,000 call attempts, about 11,000 sales appointments booked at a 42% conversion rate over the course of a 10-month time span for this primary example here. Obviously, we're still collecting data and these still hold true. Now, the increase that we've had at 586% from our booking, I'll show some examples here. That's from us running without this system, just doing our normal follow-up where I have my team, text, call, email, whatever it is, and then implementing these touch points. And I'll tell you exactly what touch points we added in. And that's how we're actually able to drop our cost of booked appointment, is because we're getting more juice out of the squeeze. So I'll show you what I mean by that here. So again, females typically convert a lot higher than men. That does not mean that men or female are the same price to get into your sales process. So a lot of people will immediately target females, and while that might be good, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the lowest cost to get those people. And what I mean by lowest cost is if you're running on a paid media campaign, or let's say you're just getting people through your organic marketing and you're saying, hey, females sign up here, men sign up here, whatever it is. But if you blend it together and you don't exclude just male or females, then that's going to help you get an overall blended lower cost. And typically, once they come in, you'll get females signing up at a higher percentage. Next here is the follow-up time. So generally speaking, I tell my team to follow up with people after 12 o'clock, and that seems to be kind of the sweet spot. Really, after 4 to 7 p.m. or between that time frame, that's when people are getting off of work. That's when they're finally checking their phones. They're catching up on everything from the day. And this is a great time to hit people, right? As soon as your leads or prospects are coming through. Now, again, this is perfect for anyone in a service-based business. So if you're a coach, consultant, home service business, we've done this for doctors, chiropractors, lawyers. We've done this for turf cleaning, turf installers. I've worked with Dr. Swatch. I've worked with Tony Robbins' ads before in the past, in a very previous life of mine. So again, all of these principles still hold up across the board. So going down this a little bit more, if we start talking about response times. Now, one thing we know is that if you're able to follow up with a lead within the first 5 minutes, then you're going to have a 10 times or 10x higher chance of qualifying them and contacting them than waiting 10 minutes. So think about what that means for a second. This is the easiest thing you can take today and implement it into your business, is if you are not contacting people within 5 minutes, I get it, you're busy, you've got business to run. 7% of businesses will contact their prospects within the first 5 minutes. And if you wait longer than those 5 minutes, your chances decrease 10x by waiting 10 minutes. So think about that for a second. If that's not enough to convict you of contacting people as soon as they come through, and most of the people that we've talked to and people that come with us say, oh, I'll touch base with my leads in an hour, the next day, the following day, whatever it is, 76% of prospects go with the first business that contacts them. And I'm one of them too, to be fair. I have contacted tint companies. I've contacted, glass replacement. I've contacted rim rash repair, not from me. I'm not the one that rashed up my rims. But all of these different these service-based businesses I've contacted, and I can't get a hold of someone. So I have to go with the first person that contacts me back because I have urgent things to attend to. I'm sure you've probably done or been in the same boat at some point, right? So keep that in mind. If you can meet this 5-minute contact, that's going to help out a ton. not to talk about our program, but this is the find that we have is if it's during business hours, like 8 to 6 is default what we do. And you can figure out how to do this yourself too. They have like Salesforce, HubSpot, High Level. There's a ton of different platforms you can figure this out on. But what we have in our system that we figured out, and we use the same system we give, is within 5 minutes, we give people about 3 or 4 minutes to schedule in appointment or sales appointment or booking a visit, whatever it is, within that first 3 or 4 minutes. And if they don't schedule their appointment, their consultation, whatever, within those first 3 or 4 minutes, then we'll kick off this auto call on minute number 4 or 5. What that does is that still meets the satisfactory requirements to hit the 5-minute follow-up, so you're capitalizing on it the most, but also too, it's giving people the option to schedule in a time onto your calendar without getting bombarded with, hey, why didn't you schedule? Why didn't you schedule? So you're giving them a grace period of 3 or 4 minutes to schedule in a time, because to be honest, it doesn't really take long to schedule into your sales appointment. And if it does, you have a totally different problem. So keep that in mind as you go through this, that you want to give them the grace period of about 5 minutes to schedule in, and then you can contact them. We usually have those auto calls go out between like 8 and 6. And there's actually a way that you can make it to where it calls your sales team and says, hey, you have a new lead, press any key to connect with Jane Doe, John Smith, Dan Schneider, right, Paul Wall, whatever the lead's name is. And the system that we figured out works is forcing a call out to this sales rep that's the best on the phone, and then having them contact the lead. And that's part of the system. That's a feature of the system that we have. But again, that's not the point of this call. So the next part is going to be the conversions by follow-up attempts via phone call. This is a huge, huge and simple lever that you can hit in business. Call your leads more. Now, I understand it. Some people don't have the infrastructure to contact people. Maybe you only have one sales rep. Maybe you're working everything out of a Google Sheet, but there are systems out there in place to have cadences so you can hit 6, 7, 8, 9 call attempts. And I'm going to show you exactly why here on this part. So if we look into it, we see that most reps will typically give up after the first few calls. Most of the people that we speak with only call their prospects about 2 or 3 times. That's typically first day, later on in the day, and then maybe the next day, at most the following week. So what we found is that if you book in 100 sales appointments in this example here, and this is the data that we have to prove it, we've done it, we're doing it now, not just for ourselves, for our clients too, but this is how you can take it and implement the same exact thing. Is if you book in 100 sales appointments, you're roughly going to get 34 or 35% of those people in on that first phone call attempt. So again, I had to re-add the numbers, make sure I'm not going crazy, because this number is totally wild. If you book in 100 sales appointments, you're typically going to get about 34 or 35 of those people from the first attempt. Now, you're going to get roughly another 62.45%. So that means almost double the booked appointments between the second and the 8th phone call attempt. So if you're contacting the lead 7 more times, you're gonna get 62 more bookings out of the 100 that you would have gotten if you were just dialing everyone once. Let's dumb it down even more. Let's say we only call them a total of 6 times. In that case, that means that we're going to get an additional, so this doesn't include the 34, 35 people that would come through. You would get an additional 51 to 52 people just from following up the 2nd to the 6th time here. And this is why we say each sales rep needs to contact a prospect at least 6 times. If you're in home service, if you're in fitness, if you're in med spa, if you are doing what we do, the idea is someone comes across your content, your solution, the problem that you're presenting, what it is that you do best and you solve. They're inquiring at some point because they got struck by some pain point, or they hit a nerve, or you hit a nerve in your marketing, right? So if, let's say, they got tagged in the picture and you're a gym and they come across your ad and they sign up and then you don't follow up for another day or 2, well, it's funny because they just ate a piece of cake and now they feel fine. They don't have to work out, but they have 100 pounds to lose, right? If, let's say, me as a homeowner, let's say I get an HOA violation for having untrimmed lawn and I want to inquire on getting turf done, and I see an ad and I inquire on it and they don't get back to me fast enough within the same day, ideally within 5 minutes as we looked at why, then why am I going to have to wait, 1, for them if it's urgent enough, but also 2, if I'm not hearing back for another week? Getting violated by the HOA is something that happens all the time across the board with everyone, but it's only on the moment that it's most pressing to me when I first get that notice. So if I open up the letter, see the notice, I get hit with an ad, I inquire, and you don't talk to me for a week, it's gone. That's it. So this is why and how you're able to almost double just your inquiries. What we figured out with this, there's things called power dialers. You can look it up, and Salesforce has them. I think HubSpot has them. There's a lot of expensive softwares that have it, but one thing that we do is we build out a power dialer that gives people cadences of following up with leads. So that same power dialer, you hit a button and then it dials the leads. So ideally, if you can find a system like that, we have ours that we use for our team and our clients use it. And what it is there's a button in the top right. You click it and then it dials off the leads one by one. And it's a way to make sure that no one ever slips through the cracks. If I buy an iPhone here versus in New York or in China, whatever it is, then I would expect to get the same exact product no matter where I go. Same thing if I had McDonald's. I went to Egypt, I ate McDonald's there. It was the same as having it in Arizona. And so with that in mind, I know that no matter where I go, my experience is going to be the same. And this is the way that you can make sure your clients have the same experience across the board. And this is what's going to help you also maintain your brand. Now, also too, if you're contacting people 6 times, at the end of it all, you're 90% more likely to contact the lead. It's really buy or die. So either they're gonna buy from you and schedule, or they're gonna tell you to kick rocks and they never wanna talk to you again. Either or, you're making contact with them to get the answer that you need. And that's how you stop getting ghosted too. So with that in mind, next is text messages. People rely so heavily on text messages. And one, they're easy to automate, but two, no one responds back to them in a promptly time. So the same 5-minute follow-up also applies to text messages when we're running this. So now if we look, we can see here, we always recommend to at least send 8 messages. Ideally, in a perfect world, we want to send 11, because after that, then the results are no more than 1%. So what that means is that if you send 100 prospects 12 text messages, less than 1% is going to reply. So just doing quick math, that means that you would have to send 300 prospects 12 text messages over the lifetime of their nurture, let's say a week, to then get 1 booking. So in that case, I would recommend to not text anyone more than 11 times over the duration of your nurturing with them. Also too, most reps are typically gonna give up after that first call. And again, the chances of contacting people drop off obviously after the first attempt, but there's still so much fruit left on the table for you to capitalize on. So we always say contact them at least 6 times. And then obviously conversion rates by contact method, call versus SMS. Now, if you want this sheet, I may link it below, but if you want this sheet and you already have a time scheduled with our team, then go ahead and mention this sheet on with our team and we'll give this to you. Otherwise, feel free to screenshot it, take this, write it down, whatever it is. But now you can go into your business and you can start to add in the 5-minute follow-up, the number of call cadences, the number of text messages. You can also layer in your emails too. This is how we're able to drop our cost per acquisition dramatically and increase our booking without spending a whole lot more, really anything more than what we already had. But we increased our booking and show rates by 586% from this. And the way that we were able to increase our booking percentage by 586% without spending a crazy amount on our ads was like this. This is how we were actually able to get a 586% lift on our booked appointments by dropping down our costs, because we implemented what I'm about to show you. So you can see here, we had our cost per scheduled booked appointment at $216.93, which now if I switch pages to our up and active campaign, that's dropped all the way down here to $36.99. And so we get that number by taking the amount that it was divided by the amount that it is, and we can see that the multiplier of it is 5.86%. So we move over to decimal, obviously that's how you get 586%. For those of you that aren't wizards with numbers, I'm not either, I just know my numbers with business. So that being said, this is exactly how you can do numbers like this using the same system. All right, so hopefully that helped. You can now take this information and implement it into your business today. And if you want to see a little bit more, then I'm going to have another video attached below this, which is actually the total framework that we have to go from 0 to 2 million within 2 years of us first opening our doors. Now, everything I've shown here is the system that we have, and we figured it out. We have it for ourselves. Our clients have it, and we build and release it to them. And if you want to see where that fits in the whole entire greater engine of things, go ahead and look in the description below, and I'm going to link a video there that shoots you over to the whole entire system front to back, how to pre-qualify, hyper-qualify, and the disposition that we have. But other than that, if this is helpful, then drop a comment below, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Hope this helps.